What's good, fam? Today we're diving deep into one of the most dramatic and potentially game-changing legal battles hip-hop has ever seen, Drake versus Universal Music Group. Now, this isn't just another rap beef story. This is a full-blown courtroom war, with Drake going after not only the biggest music label in the world, but also some of its top executives and even their CEO, Sir Lucian Grainge. Let's break it down, because the details are wild, the history runs deep, and the consequences could shift the balance of power between artists and labels forever. First off, let's talk about how we got here. We all know about the feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's been simmering for years, but in 2024, it hit a boiling point. Diss tracks started flying back and forth, fans were glued to their headphones, and then came Kendrick's nuke of a track, Not Like Us. That song wasn't just a diss, it was a cultural earthquake. The moment Kendrick dropped that line, calling Drake a certified pedophile, the entire internet lost its mind. TikTok blew up, clubs were spinning it nonstop, and the narrative shifted. Suddenly, Drake wasn't just facing a lyrical opponent, he was facing a reputation crisis. And that's where things turned legal. Drake filed a defamation lawsuit, arguing that the line crossed the line from art into slander. At first, the target was Universal Music Group, Kendrick's label. But with the new amendments, Drake is now pointing fingers directly at UMG execs, people like Ramon Alvarez, Smickle, Steve Berman, Tiffany Bullock, Monte and Avery Lippman, and yes, even Lucian Grainge, the CEO himself. Now, why would Drake go after the executives instead of just Kendrick? His team is making the case that this wasn't just an artist speaking freely. They're saying UMG executives were complicit, maybe even strategic, in letting that lyric out into the world. They want Kendrick's entire contract unredacted to see what kind of control UMG had over his music. Did they have veto power? Could they have stopped the track? Did they knowingly allow a defamatory lyric to be released because it would generate streams, buzz, and profit? And here's the wild part. They also want Lucian Grainge's emails and internal communications. If those emails show even a hint that UMG leadership was cheering on Not Like Us, it could blow the case wide open. UMG is, of course, fighting back. They say Grainge doesn't micromanage songs, that the lawsuit is baseless, and that Drake is just trying to litigate his way out of losing a rap battle. They've asked the court to dismiss the case, saying it undermines the culture of hip-hop itself, where beefs and disses have always been part of the DNA. But let's zoom out. This isn't the first time rap beefs have gotten messy, though it's one of the first to reach this level legally. Think about Tupac and Biggie. Their feud was fueled by record labels, media, and street politics, but nobody ever sued over lyrics. Instead, the violence escalated in tragic ways. Imagine if back then lawsuits had been filed instead of shots being fired. Would history have been different? Or look at Jay-Z versus Nas. Their 2001 feud gave us classics like Take Over and Ether. Both tracks were brutal, filled with personal insults, but at the end of the day, it stayed on wax. No lawsuits, no courtrooms, just two legends battling it out lyrically. Then there's Pusha T versus Drake. When Pusha dropped the story of Adidon exposing Drake's hidden son, it was one of the most damaging disses of all time. That track hit Drake's reputation hard. But again, no legal battle. Drake responded musically and strategically, and the culture moved forward. So why now? Why is Drake the first major rapper to take a diss track to court? The answer might lie in scale. Not Like Us wasn't just a diss, it was a chart-topping anthem. It was played at the Super Bowl. It became a cultural phenomenon. And when the insult is that heavy, and the reach is that wide, the stakes are higher. For Drake, this isn't just about ego, it's about brand value. Being called a pedophile in front of millions of listeners isn't just a bar, it's a scar that can affect endorsements, partnerships, and legacy. Now let's look at UMG's position. Why are they fighting so hard to shut this down? If Drake wins, the precedent is terrifying for labels. For decades, labels have claimed they don't control what artists say. They release the music, but the responsibility lies with the artist. If a court rules otherwise, if a label can be held liable for an artist's lyrics, suddenly every diss track, every controversial line could be grounds for a lawsuit. Imagine, an artist calls someone out, the label gets sued, and executives are personally dragged into court. That changes everything. Labels would either start censoring artists or tightening contracts in ways that could kill the creative freedom hip-hop thrives on. That's why UMG is calling this dangerous. They don't want to set a precedent where executives are responsible for every lyric. But here's the twist. Drake isn't just defending himself, he's also shining a light on how labels operate. His legal team is asking for unredacted financial documents, censorship records, and proof of how Interscope or Republic may have benefited from Kendrick's track. If those documents see the light of day, they could reveal industry secrets, how labels push certain artists, how they decide what gets promoted, and how money flows behind the scenes. That kind of transparency is something fans and artists have been demanding for years. Contracts are notoriously one-sided, and artists have long accused labels of shady practices. If Drake's lawsuit exposes the inner workings of UMG, it could empower other artists to demand better deals, more control, and more accountability. Let's talk about Lucian Grange for a second. This man is a giant in the industry. He's been called the most powerful person in music. Under his leadership, UMG has dominated the global market. For Drake to target him directly is bold, even dangerous. Because if Grange is forced to hand over emails, it doesn't just affect this case. It could open the door for future lawsuits, where CEOs and top executives can't hide behind their companies anymore. Think about that, the veil of corporate protection being pulled back. That's why UMG is digging in. They know this isn't just about Drake, it's about protecting the structure of the industry itself. And then there's the cultural angle. Hip-hop has always been about authenticity. Fans respect artists who stand on their words. Diss tracks are part of that culture. But Drake's lawsuit raises a tough question. If labels are amplifying beefs for profit, are these feuds even real anymore? Or are they just marketing strategies disguised as lyrical wars? If Kendrick's diss was pushed harder because it benefited UMG financially, does that change how we view it? Was it pure expression, or was it corporate engineered destruction? That's the uncomfortable question this case forces us to consider. The fan reactions are split. Some say Drake is soft for going to court instead of the booth. Others argue he's protecting his name, and that if someone accused you of something that damaging, you'd fight back too. The truth is, both perspectives have weight. Hip-hop values toughness, but the business side of music is ruthless. Drake's playing both games, the artist game and the corporate game. So where does this go from here? If the case gets dismissed, Drake looks like he overreached and UMG keeps its secrets locked away. But if it moves forward, we're looking at depositions, document leaks, and potentially the biggest courtroom drama hip-hop has ever seen. And, win or lose, the process itself could change how labels operate in the future. At the end of the day, this is about control. Who controls the narrative, who controls the culture, and who controls the billions of dollars flowing through hip-hop? Drake is challenging the machine in a way no one else has dared. Whether you think he's right or wrong, one thing's for sure, this lawsuit is bigger than music. It's about power. So what do you think? Is Drake fighting for justice and accountability? Or is this just a strategic move after losing the battle to Kendrick in the court of public opinion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is a story that could reshape hip-hop history.